in 20 years. Same imported china, same judgmental stares, same conversation about my siblings' real careers. Kevin just made partner at Goldman, Mom announced, beaming at my older brother. And Lisa's medical practice is expanding to 3 locations. I pushed my food around the plate, my phone silently collecting notifications. My company's IPO filing would hit the news any minute, but here I sat, enduring another evening of thinly veiled disappointment. What about you, Sarah? Dad asked, barely glancing up from his steak. Still playing with those little phone games? They're enterprise software applications, Dad. And the company's doing well. Lisa smirked over her wine glass. Is that why you're still driving that old Toyota? Because it's doing so well? I thought about the McLaren sitting in my garage at home but stayed quiet. 5 years of letting them think I was struggling had taught me patience. I saw the Wongs last week, Mom added. Their daughter just accepted a VP position at Morgan Stanley. Remember when you two were in coding club together? I remember, I said softly. Jenny Wong now worked for me, leading a department of 200 developers. Kevin adjusted his Rolex. Look sis, it's not too late to get a real job. I could put in a word at the bank. My phone buzzed. A message from my CFO, NASDAQ confirmed. Press embargo lifts in 10 minutes. Sarah's just afraid of real responsibility, Lisa chimed in. It's easier to play entrepreneur than face actual work. Dad's massive TV suddenly switched to breaking news. His evening ritual of watching market updates. I checked my watch. Right on schedule. Those apps of yours, Mom continued with a dismissive wave. What do they even do? They revolutionize how businesses handle data, I replied, watching the TV screen. But you're right, they're probably silly. At least admit you've wasted 5 years, Kevin said. No shame in failing. The TV anchor's voice cut through. Breaking news in the tech world. The TV anchor's voice filled the dining room. Breaking news from Silicon Valley. Can we turn that down? Lisa complained. Some of us are trying to have a civilized dinner. Mom nodded disapprovingly at my untouched wine. Speaking of civilized, Sarah, when will you start dressing like a proper businesswoman? Those hoodies you wear are probably all she can afford, Kevin smirked. Startup life must be so humbling. My phone lit up with another message. CNBC crew en route. Forbes cover approved. Wall Street Journal exclusive ready. Still selling those silly apps? Mom sneered, reaching for the wine bottle. The TV anchor's voice suddenly increased in volume. In what's being called the biggest tech IPO of the decade, Tech Solutions. Dad dropped his fork with a clatter. On screen, my corporate headshot appeared next to the headline, Tech's youngest billionaire, Sarah Chen's rise to power. The room fell silent as the anchor continued. Tech's revolutionary enterprise software, already used by 80% of Fortune 500 companies. Kevin's face went pale as he recognized the software his bank had just paid millions to implement. Mom's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. But you said you were just making phone apps. I straightened my hoodie, actually a $2,000 cashmere designer piece, and smiled. Would you like to hear about my silly little business now? We go live to NASDAQ, the TV anchor announced, where Tech's IPO is set to make history. Turn it up, Dad commanded, his hands shaking slightly as he reached for the remote. Kevin stared at his phone, frantically scrolling through financial news. This can't be. Tech, initial valuation at $48.7 billion. I finished for him. Though analysts expect it to hit $60 billion by end of trading tomorrow. Lisa's medical degree suddenly seemed very small. But you work from that little office downtown. That little office is just my private space, I said, pulling up photos on my phone. The company headquarters is that new glass tower on the waterfront. You know, the one Mom said was ruining the skyline. The Chin Innovation Center? Dad whispered, recognition dawning. Named after me, yes. I watched their faces as the TV showed aerial shots of my 40-story building. Those silly apps. They power the infrastructure of nearly every major bank, including yours, Kevin. Mom's hands trembled as she poured more wine. But you never said anything. I tried. For 5 years I tried telling you about the company's growth. You were too busy comparing me to the Wong's daughter. I paused, checking another message. By the way, Jenny sends her regards. She's my head of global development now. The TV continued. Chinteca's revolutionary software has transformed how businesses handle data, with contracts from Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. Those contracts you kept dismissing at dinner? I added, watching Kevin's face. The ones you said were probably small-time deals? Microsoft alone was worth $2 billion. Lisa set down her wine glass. The new system we just implemented at my clinics. Chintec Medical Suite, yes. You complained about the price last month. Don't worry, family discount coming. Dad's phone started ringing. The country club, no doubt, seeing his daughter's name splashed across global news. Speaking of family, I continued, opening my laptop, you might want to watch your portfolios tomorrow. All those tech stocks you insisted were too risky? The TV flashed to scenes of Wall Street analysts. Chinteca's IPO expected to trigger major market movements. Mom finally found her voice. But you said your company was struggling. The small office, that old car. I learned from you actually, I replied. All those lessons about appearances being everything? I just used them differently. The doorbell rang. Through the foyer windows we could see news vans pulling up. That would be CNBC, I said, checking my phone. They're doing a special on Tech's new dynasty. Rather ironic, considering last Christmas you said I was diminishing the Chin family name. Kevin's banking mask finally cracked. The software rollout at Goldman last month, the one I took credit for choosing, was selected 3 levels above you, I finished. By people who actually knew what they were looking at. Lisa's phone buzzed, her business partner calling. The medical software they just paid a fortune for was about to become headline news. Sarah, Dad started, his voice uncharacteristically uncertain, all these years when you thought I was failing? I stood up, smoothing my designer hoodie. That's the thing about tech, Dad. Sometimes the biggest successes look like nothing until they're everything. The TV switched to footage of my last TED Talk. Chintec CEO Sarah Chen's revolutionary approach has been called the future of enterprise computing. But you never showed any signs of. Mom gestured helplessly at the screen. Signs of what? Success. I pulled up our company financials on my laptop. Revenue doubled every quarter for 5 years. We have offices in 12 countries. Our technology runs everything from hospital systems to space missions. Another message lit up my phone. NYSE trading floor ready for your opening bell ceremony tomorrow. So all those Sunday dinners, Lisa said slowly, when we were bragging about our careers. I was building an empire, I finished. One that's about to make your medical practice look like a corner store. The reporters were at the door now. Through the window, their cameras caught my family's shocked expressions, perfectly framed by the mansion's expensive decor. Decor that suddenly seemed shabby compared to my company's ultramodern headquarters. Now, I said, standing to greet the press, would anyone like to hear about my silly little apps? The next morning, my family sat in stunned silence in the exclusive NASDAQ viewing suite, watching as global markets prepared for Chinteca's debut. The old Chin family hierarchy had been shattered overnight. Your sister, CNBC's host announced, has revolutionized enterprise computing. Sarah Chin joins us now. Mom smoothed her hastily bought designer dress, watching as I stepped onto the trading floor in my signature elevated casual style. The hoodie she'd mocked was now being praised as tech fashion leadership by Vogue. Miss Chin, the reporter began, your software powers 80% of Fortune 500 companies. Did you ever imagine? Actually, I interrupted smoothly, it's 82% as of this morning. We just closed deals with the remaining major banks. I glanced at Kevin, who was frantically texting his Goldman colleagues. Lisa's phone kept buzzing, her medical colleagues realizing their new software system came from her unsuccessful sister. Your family must be very proud, the reporter continued. The camera panned to them, capturing their forced smiles. Dad straightened his tie, trying to look like he'd believed in me all along. Family is complicated, I replied diplomatically. But success speaks for itself. My phone lit up with another message. Gates Foundation partnership confirmed. UN contract finalized. Speaking of success, the reporter added, your net worth after today's IPO. is irrelevant, I cut in. What matters is that Chintek's technology is transforming how the world works. Though I suppose the billions don't hurt. Mom flinched at the casual mention of billions. More money than their precious family fortune multiplied 100 times. After the ceremony in our private suite, Dad finally spoke. Sarah, we save it, I said, checking updates from our global offices. I'm not interested in apologies. I'm interested in forward movement. But we're family, Lisa protested. Funny. That didn't matter when you were mocking my little computer games at every dinner. Kevin stepped forward, business card in hand. If you need banking services. Chintek has its own financial division now, I replied. Actually, we're hiring. Entry-level positions available. Mom dabbed at her eyes. We just wanted what was best. No, I corrected. You wanted what looked best. Big difference. I turned to face them fully. The company is launching a charitable foundation. You can participate, after completing the same application process as everyone else. But we're Chens, Dad started. So am I replied. The Chin who changed technology forever. The one you dismissed for 5 years. My phone buzzed again. Elon Musk wanted a meeting. I have to go. The markets wait for no one, not even disappointed parents. As I left, I heard Lisa whisper, her hoodie costs more than my car. And her company, Kevin added quietly, is worth more than everything our family has built in 3 generations. Mom called after me, will you still come to Sunday dinner? I paused at the door. I'll send my executive chef. He can teach you what a real business dinner looks like. The elevator doors closed on their shocked faces as CNBC announced. Chintek shares soared 200% in first hour of trading. Success I'd learned was the best revenge. An